Everything going on, this is how I'm saving money to prepare for the upcoming recession. First place I'm cutting costs is grocery shopping. Costco's still my favorite place to shop, but as long as I don't buy snacks or expensive meats, I should be good. And in my area, Aldi has the best prices for fruits and vegetables. Next is saying no to shopping, especially when it comes to clothes, because I have enough. And then we're making coffee and tea at home, which saves me about $7 per day. You don't need to go to a restaurant to eat well when you can do the same thing at home. This was less than $100 for 6 people. I'll also do more free activities like walking and hiking and trying to do a side hustle at home to bring extra income. Let me know how you're trying to prep for this crazy economy.
Americans are finding ways to prepare for the recession because, let's be honest, if we look at some of the economic statistics from the last recession, the Great Depression, 2008 financial crisis, a lot of the stats are similar, if not even worse. So a lot of Americans are using common sense and saying, well, we're definitely going into a recession if we're not already in one. So let me go ahead and start preparing so I can take care of me and my family. And this is how some of those families are doing so.
We're about to go through one of the worst recessions in U.S. history. Here is 3 things you can do to prepare for that. Now, before I give you these 3 things, understand this recession could possibly be worse than the Great Depression. In my previous video, I showed you why and how this is going to happen. So, number 1, you want to have 3 to 6 months of money saved up for your normal monthly bills. Very important, especially with the job losses we're likely to see here pretty soon. Number 2, cut your expenses. I understand with inflation, this can sound difficult, but most of us can find areas that we can cut. Number 3, get a side gig or side hustle. Also, could just add extra hours at work. In this day and age, with the very phone you're holding, many of us can make money on top of our job with easy side gigs you can pick up right online. Do what you can to add as much funds as you possibly can, cut your expenses as much as you can, and make sure you have 3 to 6 months of savings saved up in case job loss happens to come your way. This recession is going to be nothing to play with. It can bring opportunity for some if you are prepared for it.
I am not trying to be a pocket watcher, but I have noticed so many people posting that they've purchased a new car or a new house or new bags, and I often wonder if people realize that we are entering a recession. And a lot of these people aren't millennials like myself, and they don't know what it was like in like 2009. Not trying to be a hater, but me and my family, we could go buy a new car. I want a new car, but I'm doing everything that I can right now to save as much money as I can and just be responsible with my purchases and not overconsume during this time, because we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts below.
How to survive a recession from someone who graduated college in 2011 and high school in 2007. I've seen so many people sharing their thoughts on this, and so I wanted to share mine. Number 1, do not ever belittle anybody on how they make money. Be open to ways that are not the conventional path to make money. Maybe you graduated with a degree in accounting, but there's a job at Costco available. Take that freaking job and feed yourself, feed your family. Sometimes our dreams become our side hustles while we build. And anything you can bring to the table, whether it's a discount somewhere or it's just a job, A-okay, you are not failing. Explore multiple ways to make money, having more than one stream of income. Maybe you love your job, you have it. Maybe you are adding some income being an Amazon driver. Maybe you're picking up a bar shift one night a week. Maybe you're looking into more online channels to make money. The more streams of income you have, the more flexibility you have. And they do not have to be expensive to start. I'm not talking like a chain of rental homes. Make friends, because you can share a lot. It's amazing how quick one loaf of bread turns into a feast when everybody else has all the fixins. Everybody brings one thing. We survived a long time like that. Set a budget for yourself for fun, because axing it completely is just not an option. Ask for help when you need it. And it doesn't just have to be financial help. Maybe you really need your house cleaned. Maybe you really need painting done. Something that you might have to hire somebody for. But you call in all your reinforcements and you get it done in a day. Turn things that might otherwise be depressing into a fun new task. Turn learning how to make your own bread into something fun. Invest time in your garden. Turn ways to save money into a skill for yourself. Share subscriptions with people. We still do. And if you can, don't be scared. Keep moving forward, keep taking that next step, even if it is an unexpected next step. And remember that sometimes in life, there are builder episodes. Not every year is the season finale.
If you're a mid-20s to early 30-year-old and you're noticing a lot of things in the news about how unpredictable the current economy is, here's what I would do during an economic downturn and an unpredictable job market. First off, I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a financial guru. I'm not your rich BFF. I am somebody who was raised with high financial literacy because of my dad, who was a financial planner and worked for the IRS. I am somebody who was able to pay off their student loans and go debt-free completely by the time they were 32, and I saved up enough money to purchase my first home a couple years ago. Take it or leave it. Also, this advice is for anybody. It doesn't matter what your current income is. You can take advantage of this advice, in my opinion. First off, have you ever noticed that a lot of retail brands have things like the wedding guest shop or the vacation shop? That's because the fashion industry relies on these sort of occasion-based shopping habits based off of overconsumption. So number one is stop buying occasion-based retail purchases. Now, this sounds really weird, but this is actually a type of purchasing that the retail and fashion industry really relies on. You have a vacation coming up, you have a wedding that you're attending, you want to buy yourself a little treat so you can look cute in photos, and so you buy an occasion-based purchase. This year I've held back though. I have not purchased anything for any of the weddings or of the vacations that I'm going on. I've just relied on what I already own, and wouldn't you know it, my experience didn't change. Number two, unless you are fully confident in your employment, I would not be upgrading your current living situation. Even if you were to get a bonus or a new job or a pretty big salary or wage increase, this is not the economy to live within or above your means. This is the economy to live slightly below your means. Most people who study financial literacy know that you should have 6 to 9 months saved up in an easily accessible account to be able to withdraw funds in case you hit a rainy day. And the best way to do that is if you get a new source of income, it's to freeze your current quality of life and use that income to actually start building your savings. And that brings me to number three, which is open a high yield savings account. Even if you just put $50, $100, $200 in it every month, it is very much worth it. And that is because interest rates are still very high right now. Most high yield savings accounts have between a 3.15 to 3.75 compound interest rate. And what that means is that if you put $1,000 in it over the course of 1 year, you're gonna get $36, $37, $35 back just by having the money in that account. Whereas with a typical bank account, you're only getting 0.01 to 0.04%. And this money is just as accessible. Just this year alone, I've received $2,500 back from my high yield savings account. And notice, I didn't say to live in fear or that you have to stop doing the things you enjoy every day. It's just a good way to actually save a little bit in case we hit a rockier road in the future with our economy.
With times only getting harder month after month, year after year, times only getting more expensive, it only makes sense to treat it like a recession and start preparing as such. So when you look at some of these people saying things like 2 to 3 months of, expenses you want to have saved up, maybe have some investments that pay you out every month or every year, in dividends or stocks or, interest or APR, whatever it is, that will help you in the long run. I mean, you could get to a point where you have enough money invested that you're making a living off of dividends, interest, all of that stuff. But, that's a long reach for a lot of people. But it definitely helps, even if you just have an extra $100 coming in a month because you invested into something. Or if when someone loses a job and you have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up, maybe, your bill is a little late. And your check's coming, a week late, and you have, at least you have some cans of food in the pantry instead of having to go into debt to buy more food. So, it's not necessarily like a zombie apocalypse kind of thing where you board up your windows and buy a whole bunch of weapons, but it is a thing where let me think ahead of time and see what could happen and how I could prepare for it.
Y'all need to be channeling your punk lifestyle for the recession. This was heavy on me in the 2010s, but it never goes away. Let's start at number one. Consumerism is addictive. People buy because they're bored. Punks don't get bored. They don't buy. They DIY and repair. Capitalism does not want you to repair your own shit. It's actually super fucking anti-capitalist to repair your own vacuum or your laptop. It's also very punk to make something yourself. You can learn how to make anything. Number three, look for trash. Okay, I don't necessarily mean dumpster diving unless you want to, because honestly, a lot of the dumpsters, they lock them now. Go Go walk around your alleyways. Go walk around outside. Trash is a construct. Another person's trash is another person's treasure. You can make art with it. Hobbies are free. No, you do not need to pay for a membership to go do blah, 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 blah. Literally do it with your friends. Find friends. Do shit together or do it by yourself. But for punk mentality, you're gonna do it with your friends. Food can be found. Again, I'm not necessarily saying dumpster diving. Community food banks, free food services. I used to work a lot with Food Not Bombs. Those things are for everyone. While you're there, volunteer. Sign up to volunteer. Figure out how to help out. Swap and trade clothes. That is the way of the future. No car. Okay, if you don't have a car, you're not paying insurance, gas, etc. Ride a bike, walk. I know this isn't for everyone, but it is a way to cut back. Garden. There is no punk that does not have a garden. I literally don't even know very much about gardening, but I can grow some cucumbers, okay? Also, it's a really fun hobby. Stop trying to impress. People buy to impress other people. Impress them with the cool shit that you make. Support your local art scene. A lot of these shows will be like donation based. Concerts are really expensive. DIY shows are not. And also they're more fun. Also, you generally meet people there. Like that is where you can find new friends. Not even just music though, of course. And also when you're at these spaces, figure out how to get involved. There is so much you can do without a lot of money.
Welcome to Recession Core, where we don't stop completely spending money, but I try to convince you to spend it in smarter ways. Today we're going to be talking about credit card benefits, and I'm not talking your regular like airline, hotel, rental car benefits. I'm talking about some of these smaller ones that you might not even realize that you have. We all need a little sweet treat every now and then, right? I'm not going to deny you of that. So if you have a Capital One credit card and you live in like a major metropolitan city, chances are that there's a Capital One cafe that's right by you. If you use your Capital One card at the Capital One cafe and you purchase a beverage like coffee or like a latte, you automatically get 50% off of your drink. Means instead of spending $7 or $8 for a cup of coffee, which I have never really understood. I'm not a coffee drinker, but like I do love a good matcha and a chai. Cuts your expense in half. This next one is for all of my Chase card people out there. You guys are some of the most savvy people that I know, so you all probably already know this benefit, but in case you don't, if you have a Chase Sapphire Preferred or a Reserve, every single month you get $10 or I think it's $20 if you're reserved in DoorDash credit. And I know what you're thinking, DoorDash is already so expensive, you're probably not going to want to spend like $30 just so you can cut $10 off of it. But what you can do is place an online pickup order through DoorDash at a 7-Eleven and go pick up stuff there. That way you completely forego the delivery fee. I think you still have to pay a certain. 7-Eleven doesn't just have snacks, so they also have a lot of household items, toiletries, also like I needed aluminum foil, so I picked up aluminum foil. If you want snacks, you can get snacks there too, but there are a lot of options that you can pick from. Last but not least, I'm sure that all of you are already utilizing this, but for Amex Platinum and for Chase, you each get either an Uber or a Lyft credit every month. So I have the Amex Plat and I get $15 in Uber credit every single month, except for December where I think it's $20 or $25. And then I think if you're a Chase Reserve, double check on that. If you're Chase Reserve, then you get a Lyft credit every month. So just make sure that you are utilizing those as well. Really hope that this helped. If you guys want to hear more about how I am staying sane during this economic time, I would love to share more. But teamwork makes the dream work, so there is no gatekeeping here.
So last week I asked some personal finance advice from anyone that was an adult during the 2008 recession, and here's what I gathered. We are screwed. This is not what they went through. The reason why they had business clothes on in the club was because they still had jobs. But I will tell you, according to my plan, I am on track and a little bit further established than they were, a lot of them at that time, but I still got some work to do. Now, I will say a lot of people were 50-50 on whether or not I should decrease my 401k and Roth IRA contributions versus increasing them. Of course, they said you're young, baby, the market gonna recover. I would say that this is a time that people get rich, invest in the market. I'm still 50-50 because, yeah. Somebody also told me that I need to keep cash under my mattress in case the banks go down. I don't really know how I feel about that, but we'll see. But lastly, honestly, they just weren't affected how we are today. Even though some people might have lost their jobs, the cost of living was so low where if they did, they were just able to still wing it and kind of sustain themselves during that time. And what I'm realizing is, baby, it's rough. I am 29 years old and I have seen enough current events to last a lifetime. I'm tired. I don't know if my plan is worth it. I don't know if it's gonna work, but baby, at least I got one. That's all I got for y'all.
All right, recession prep part 4. This one is for women only. So if you're not a woman, scroll. Or not, you can stick around, but I'm not going to filter what I'm going to say. So yeah, women, if you are of childbearing age, then menstrual disc and or a Diva cup. That is something you can use when your cycle is on. That does not require you to continue to buy disposable sanitary products. Somebody suggested reusable pads. I don't have any information on that. I'm not sure, but I'm sure if you just look at TikTok, they'll tell you something about it. Also, there are period panties. I think I saw a video. I think there's a black-owned company that has period panties. So that, again, you're not buying disposable stuff. Same thing for your babies. Cloth diapers and or wipes. They talked about that, you know, becoming an issue or cost being a barrier. So if you're going to do cloth diapers, you will also need the little plastic underwear type thing is what they use. I usually use cloth diapers when my kids are potty training. So my 1-year-old, I haven't started putting them on them yet, but putting them on her yet, but I will soon. Somebody suggested a bidet. They said that the bidet would be better. That would help you use less toilet paper. So I'm going to be looking into that as well. Also, several people posted that Costco have Plan B pills available. So if you are still of childbearing age and you need that kind of thing, or if you have somebody in your life that is of childbearing age, because a lot of times what several of the ladies have been saying is that, you know, they're older, they are not of childbearing age, but they have nieces, they have nephews. And with the current regulations, even if you're assaulted, like that's something. And they also mentioned that they were $6 and you can get, I don't know if that's right. Is that right? I don't know. I got a bunch of kids, so I don't know what it is. But that you can buy 2 a day without a Costco membership. So just keep that in mind. And condoms. And I know that for a lot of women, that's like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm not buying that, whatever. But we are living in a time where you have to protect yourself. Just being honest, you've got to make sure that you are okay. And whatever that looks like for you, just take heed. Again, I know I talked in the first video, I think, about them wanting to outlie or do away with like tampons. If that is your preferred method, then I would definitely suggest getting them, because Project 2025 is moving rapidly. And so I'm sure RFK will come out and say, they did a study and, oh, wait, yeah, okay, so whatever. So if that's your preferred method, then do that. And just be safe, y'all. It is a rough time to be a woman. It is a rough time to be a mama. And y'all know women, we carry stress. We are concerned about everybody and everything and all the moving parts. And if you've watched any of these videos before, you may be freaking out like, oh my gosh, it's way too late. I didn't know what it's not. Just the whole purpose of this is to help to stave off some of the impact. That's what it is.